month okay?
Oh, no, it's fine. Yeah, I'm surprised, because they're just rollovers, and if there's any percentage increase over that.
Yeah, the number's there. We already know the number. I don't have it in front of me.
It's because.
I agree.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'll make sure Mr.
Just wonder if there's a way we pass the motion tonight, make it subject to confirmation of the terms, because I just hate to see you have to re-advertise it's an ordinance.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, because it's intergovernmental cooperation, has to be advertised as an ordinance. So I hate
So
to
what
see
do you
you go
want
through.
Do you know the terms? Is there a percentage increase, any increase, or?
I
It was
don't
my
think
understanding, and again, I did talk to Gwen about this a couple of months ago, that there were no changes. It was a simple rollover of same terms and conditions. If that's the case, maybe just approve it subject to confirmation that the terms remain the same.
And if they're not, we have to.
If they're not, then then you will have to, well, you want to examine it, you want to re-advertise.
Could we say contingent upon acceptance?
Or not.
No, because
Who's
No.
accepting?
one of the problems is it's not attached. Usually what we would have, and if Gwen were here, is she would have attached the agreement to the
In fact, it says attached.
exhibit A, right? And unfortunately, I
Not
don't
even
have.
wanted to read. Not even wanted to read.
Again, I hate to see it have to re-advertise. Why not just approve it, adopt it, approve it subject to confirmation from Gwen or from me that the terms of the material terms of your increase.
I don't.
Well, you don't have to do that. I'm just saying the average. Oh, wait. She may have it before.
Well, we didn't have it.
No, you all have to sign it.
Wait a minute. Let's see if she put the contract. No. Oh, wait, here's.
Didn't we already vote to approve this contract?
Yes.
I hope we did. Wait. It wasn't last month because I wasn't here, but I thought it was perhaps the month before that. I can't remember.
I think you did. I think the only thing we were waiting to do. Okay, here's what I think happened. If it's helpful, and if not, I mean, there's no reason to push this through tonight other than the advertising. But if it's helpful, what I recall now is we did approve of this renewal. What had to happen though was, because it was an intergovernmental cooperation agreement, it had to be incorporated and made part of an ordinance. So all we were delayed, or what we were holding off on, was the adopting of the ordinance, which was merely procedural, and we had to do that in order to approve, to enact the ordinance.
But it mentions attachment A, which is supposed to be the term. We didn't get the attachment.
Not as part of the ordinance, but I think you already approved the attachment at an earlier meeting.
Which was the ratings. No, actually, right.
It says a copy of which is attached here to exhibit A.
So it does need to be advertised.
No, it was advertised, and it was advertised for adoption tonight. So all I'm saying is, if you've already approved Exhibit A, then, you're probably in a position to adopt the ordinance. But if you're concerned about it, don't worry, I mean, we can do it anytime. If you're not comfortable with it,
I'm not comfortable with it, so let's wait until next workshop. Okay? All right, thank you. Next is the report.
Can I just ask, is anybody here to, because they want to discuss that issue?
Next, need a report on the fire department. Anything? Guess you haven't heard anything.
Nothing?
Okay, we skip that. We seldom get a report by them, by the way. We do a good job. Emergency management, anything new on that?
Just one comment. Judy sent out a doodle asking us to pick a date to have a meeting to do our tests. Has everybody responded?
I didn't get it. It's to be the 18th of August or something.
You have to do.
I don't think I know when it is. I
Have
just-
you responded?
Yes, very well.
When did they come out? A couple weeks ago?
Oh, wait.
Yeah, you might have not seen it.
Thank goodness. All right. For us to all get together and do the training together.
Yeah, so it's important that Judy get that. Good.
I did it in the
By the way, we have a candidate for the Board of Commissioners in the audience tonight. I think it would be, by the way, welcome Art Williams, who's on the list for the election. I would think it would be appropriate if he were invited to that, so he could just hear what we're doing and be prepared. I think there's a good chance of the election. So there's at least no competition at this point.
Well, it's a committee. There's no reason you can't attend. It's not a commissioner meeting.
We'll let you know what the date is.
So that people understand the secretary's on medical leave, or the manager's on medical leave, the secretary is on vacation. So we're operating without their administration except for Charlotte.
Anything else on that subject? Public Works. Tom, good.
Basically, through this, I mean, we had a lot of drainage issues with washouts and stuff in the streets. And we fixed the lights on our garage, cleaned out the gutters and stuff, and salt and so road damage, we gotta do we had a slide area, we had to put in a heavier rip out on North Fork on the hillside, seems to be going all right. We've got a tri-state, we've got some catch basin lines that's been plugged up. In fact, we got to come back tomorrow to camera some of the lines to see the shape they're in. And the subcontractor backfill along the area that was paved this year. And then he is due back in Wednesday and Thursday this week to complete that job. So then the paving project will be done, and we're gonna, the township, we're gonna do, overlook ourselves at this point because it's gotta save the township money, and the engineer recommended it because we gotta go into areas where the ground is higher than curb now, so we're gonna, when we put the forked grading bucket on the highway, we're gonna have to regrade along the grass areas on overlook, keep the cost down.
As I recall, the property owner was supposed to do the grading before we paved the road.
No, they did the project they were required at the end.
Okay.
They had to add their drains and everything. This we're responsible for. If we put a new road in, we're responsible to put it back. The grass area is back how they work.
Okay.
That's what we're gonna, next week we're gonna do other contractor will do this week to complete. So we're on the Boyd, South, the Boyd, Ingleside, road extension, Parkway.
Okay.
So
Tom, do you know if the engineer has started the mapping?
Excuse me.
Just trying to finish this project.
Okay.
As Tom said, they'll conduct the final inspection. Get the final approval on the contract. And hopefully, the next executive will have that to approve and close out the big contract.
Just a question, what is the R for riprap?
that's a heavier riprap, bigger riprap, the small stuff is a bigger size. So the slider we had on Rose Avenue, the erosion, we went to put the bigger stuff in to hold in better because places, but you know, things like this.
Okay, so that's a dumb question, but what's a riprap?
So,
It's a heavy stone, it's a limestone, but it's a different shapes, but I mean, it packs in when you set it to keep erosion, that's the whole principle, so it doesn't keep washing out,
Okay.
so that holds it in.
It's course 101B.
Small versus large.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else?
That's it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Let me point out that the tri-state meetings, that's the covenant of the septic tank, it's a 18 out pump stations for us. So we do a lot of work here, so.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Jumping back to that discussion of the inter-township agreement, will you be sure to touch bases again and that has to be re-advertised?
I will tell Kim. Glenn won't be back for another 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Kim wants to call me, I'll help him.
Oh, sure.
Okay, communications.
I don't have any report.
Thank you. Planning and zoning. Anything there?
I should give you a quick update, and also instead of doing it during my solicitor's report, I can
Okay.
There were 2 conditional use applications that were filed last month from the Planning Commission. One was by Vesuvius, and they're seeking a modification of the requirements in their original conditional use permit with regard to parking. They want some relief from that in the sense that they don't think they need all parking immediately. What they want is to get a modification of the full parking, and with the idea that if they hire employees in the future, they would add the additional spaces. So that's not ready yet. That still has to go through planning. It will go next month. Masonic filed a conditional use application because, as we said last month, I think you'll see it in your minutes, they want to take the dish house and they want to run an additional childcare operation on the dish house. They came to the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission discovered that they had some zoning issues with that and sent them to the zoning hearing board to get their bearings before they came back for conditional use approval, which is the proper procedure. So you'll probably be seeing them eventually, but they need to go to the zoning hearing board first.
Okay.
That's planning and zoning.
That's why we're good. We received this letter. We own houses across the street next to
Can
us.
I give your name?
Barbara Steinhoff. We were told to come to this meeting.
Okay, we usually wait till
Okay,
the end.
well, it's just that it's the zoning. That's what I was telling you. It's all he was just talking
So
about.
this will not be discussed tonight. Normally, we would advertise this for a hearing tonight, but because they weren't ready, they need additional zoning approvals. We will not be holding a hearing tonight.
Will we get another letter when?
Yes, you will.
All right.
It'll be scheduled for a future meeting night.
Sorry. Oh, I definitely want. I'm not gonna complain about them doing it, so that's not the issue.
You can come to the meeting and say anything you want, but we're not doing it tonight.
Okay. All right, so, but I'll get another letter saying when we're going to do it.
Absolutely, you will.
Okay, all right.
Sure.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
So, that's it.
That's planning and zoning.
We have a motion, folks.
I can address both of those.
Could we have some discussion on that before we have the motion? I don't understand this.
Planning and zoning.
I know, we got that. What about the discussion to consider establishing weight limits on roads?
Well, you should be taking 2 separate motions here for discussion.
Let's do the first.
I jumped
First,
in.
do it first. I want to talk about the second one before you.
All right. Yeah.
What's this under?
Someone needs to make the motion to release 2 Masonic Village letters of credit in the amounts of $406,403 and $12,500.
Can you explain what they were?
Yeah, I have to. So, way back in 2011, Masonic also received a conditional use approval to construct an expansion of sorts. And I think that was the one that did include the Vesh property, sorry. And as security for performance of their obligations, typically they would have to post a bond or sometimes even post cash. But frequently developers are permitted to file alternate forms of security for their performance. And in this case, we as a township took 2 letters of credit. One was for road maintenance and road bonding, and one was for the improvements that they were constructing. And the terms of that from 2011 was that after it was certified that they had performed, that those letters of credit would terminate and be returned to the bank that issued them. So the question here that I was asked was, there had been a request, which I haven't seen actually, but there was, according to Gwen, there was a request that these letters of credit be terminated. And so I said, well, make sure that the engineer has inspected the roads and inspected the improvements to make sure it's been performed. So that's where we tell them.
They haven't been inspected.
Okay, so we should not be releasing any letters of credit until we're satisfied that the improvements have been performed.
And what, this is not real money, it's just a letter of credit, but I don't know.
Well, it's a form of security, it's a guarantee, and
Why are we doing money to them instead of them?
they posted these, the bank for Masonic, posted the letters of credit so that if the improvements weren't performed, we could draw on those letters of
But we
credit.
haven't had, so,
We have not.
okay, I understand, but
Some of these will just be, you know, like.
This was not cash in the bank.
No.
This is just if they don't do what they were supposed to
Right,
do,
we have a way.
we
to
had
cover
recourse.
them.
It's actually better, it's more secure probably, as I recall, than what it's better.
And so until the engineer
Yeah,
inspects
it's
and
a-
says it was done. Yeah,
It's not right. We're not, yeah, it's not right.
Okay,
So that's, and that would, now on the waive ordinance, that's something that comes to you as a recommendation. You want the background or do you want the motion?
oh, no, background.
Okay,
technically,
the chair or one of the members of your planning commission at the last planning commission meeting thought it would be a good idea to have a weight limit ordinance on your roads because he felt that there were a number of construction projects where Glenn Osborne and Swickley were actually diverting traffic into Aleppo because they had weight limit ordinances and you didn't. And he didn't feel that that was fair, that your residents were bearing the brunt of these trucks in this construction project. So
Is this true?
this is
There's no engineering behind it or anything else.
this
Just
was
doesn't want big trucks. So
this was the planning commission member saying he wished that the board of commissioners would consider this problem. And he asked Gwen or asked Kim to write it up and present it. So Kim is here tonight. Kim is doing that.
So does it come from the planning commission, or is it just a member that wants this to happen?
It's just a member. And I don't think it was voted on by the board.
Okay, so has anybody on this board made that motion?
I mean, their
Fails to
whole record is.
It shouldn't even be discussed.
Because there are big there are like 2 or 3 trucks that are only allowed on certain levels.
I don't know what the status of your road ordinances is, but unless you authorize me to research that and draft something for your consideration, I'm not going to.
I think Tom has a comment.
I do. I think the issue they're talking about is the building they're going over on Teggy Gate, which they're going up Weber, Ferndale, Weber Extension. And the road's taking a beat. He's right in what he's saying. And it's I can see where he's coming from in a sense, because when we were paving South McCoy last year and everything, well, they couldn't come from the bottom to go to Mitchell. They had to go around, because if they would come through there, they were going to get a ticket because of the weight limit. So they're not letting trucks coming into Aleppo to do projects, but they're coming up and going on Aleppo Township roads, and our roads are taking a beat. Because when you're hauling triaxles of dirt, everything else, and the roads are gonna take a beat.
So, but it's just, to me, it's the opposite. I mean, this, maybe we should change their limits. Maybe they should change it. I mean, they're saying that they can't come up Glen Mitchell because they're too heavy.
They have a weight limit, yes, and a triaxle is too heavy for their weight limit.
So now we'll restrict our weight limit, and then nobody will get the dirt, right?
Well,
This is a real contentious, item in all communities. What they have to do is they have to post a performance bond anytime they come in. They post it through the township to cover any damage that they could possibly do. And what, like up in our township, like Tom would go out and look at the road before they issued the bond, and then once the job's over, they'll go back and look at the road and go, okay, it's okay, or they sunk something in. It's the very, very high fine. My guy wrote one the other day, the deer, the guy wrote one the other day and it was $18,000.
Because of damage to them.
No, because they brought a truck onto a 9-ton load, and it was 74,000 pounds, and it was a 9-ton weight limit. So, that is beautiful, yeah, look at that.
What's that?
Two little farms.
Yeah.
I didn't-
Mommy ain't too fun.
I'm not gonna adjourn the meeting.
Oh my gosh. So
Bambi's out there.
I think it's appropriate to consider.
Make a motion.
But if we consider limiting
To consider.
weight, it's then how does things get where they have to go? I mean, I don't understand.
Then you have local delivery, and you make exceptions to certain things like fire trucks, dump truck, garbage trucks. It's the people that have paving done on driveways, people that have, things like that, cement trucks. They're the ones that do this as well. And you have new construction, you have a lot of tandem loads of dirt being taken in and out.
I'm not saying anything one way or the other
Yeah.
on the merit. I'm saying as a matter of procedure, this conversation is out of order. It's not a motion.
All right, well, I'm gonna make a motion that the commissioners of Aleppo Township review the issue of weight limit ordinances in Aleppo Township.
Forward. Repeat that.
I move that the Board of Commissioners of Aleppo Township review and consider weight limit ordinances in Aleppo Township.
We can't discuss it until there's a second. Is anybody seconding the motion?
I don't want to discuss it before a second.
No, the procedure is, as Matt said, we really should be hearing the motion, have it seconded, and then discuss it. You don't really discuss a motion before there's a motion on the table. So, are you seconding the motion? You remain silent. So the motion fails for lack of a second. There's no further discussion. Sorry. Okay. I got two sets of agendas here. Tax collector is the next.
Okay, for June, Town of Aleppo collected $23,200 for income tax, $23,000 for business privilege tax, $4,032.10 for local service tax, no property taxes, $2,205.68 for delinquent real estate tax and $1,656.20 for realty transfer tax, for a total of $54,093.98. And it is grafted on the back of that. And to date, we have collected $629,085.31 against the total of $735,000. So we are doing quite well.
Yes. Against the total budget, what we expect for the year.
Partway through, we have time to collect the rest.
Right.
Okay, any other questions on the report? Okay, next is the treasurer's report.
And in the treasurer's report, the general fund at PNC has $659,024. And the deduction of that $383,000 was for the El Grande check. The general investment account at Pliget is $254,588.30. And the redemptions of $844,983.44 was for the transfer into PNC for the El Grande check and for the CDs. The CDs in the 54 Pliget Plus, that account has $457,013.01. The $497,000 that was withdrawn from that is going to the 3 CDs that were purchased through Pliget. The Liquid Fuels Fund, $48,297.93. The Reserve Fund, $3,260.95. Capital improvements, that is $66,813.34. The infrastructure with PA Invest, $15,745.25 for total monies on hand of $1,504,742.78. Now, the Pliget fund for the sewer bond was the balance at the beginning of the year, plus the purchases, minus the redemptions, minus the transfer to the capital fund, leaves a 25-cent balance. And the sewer bond fund, the second one, I realized that is a capital fund. And that is going to be our sewer capital fund, and that now has $252,942.10. Questions?
So, sewer bond fund is part of the redemption. The finance, what's remaining there is a capital fund for the sewer projects.
Anything else? Okay. Aleppo Township Authority. So, anybody this week have a comment on that? Okay.
Items to report on the authority is they're still awaiting approval from Department of Protection for the construction. They have DEP had a couple questions, so the permit has not been issued. So we're waiting to issue that permit before we can go out and solicit bids. We had hoped to be able to do that this summer, and we're still hopefully we can get done in August. But DEP has some questions about the geotechnical information. I'm not quite sure they understood it, so We have our geotechnical engineer sitting down, meeting with Dover. So that's on hold until we receive that. We're ready to go to bids. All plans and specs are ready, subject to that. With respect to maintenance item, there were two major water leaks. People had to repair. We lost quite a bit of water over it. The most significant leak was at the Swiftly Heights. They had a major water leak. And in fact, we lost over 500,000 gallons. Unfortunately, we metered it, so they lost it. They had to pay for it, but be that as it may.
I'm sorry, where was that leak?
In Swiftly Heights, not Cuba. Swiftly Hills.
Swiftly Hills,
Yeah, Swiftly Hills.
different time.
Yeah, Swiftly Hills.
So the leak on the coin,
Pardon?
the leak on the coin, the water leak.
There wasn't.
Right, and then the next night, it looked like they had fixed it all. And then did it rupture again, perhaps?
That was a very deep leak, and there was actually two leaks. We thought they had the first one, the other one was about 10 foot down.
So another one,
It was,
because it was like 2 nights in a row.
but I think they've got it down. They replace that line, or cut out a section of line and replace it. There were two fairly significant leaks in our system, and a major leak up in the hill. The other issue that was reported on last time was the fact that the meters, sewage meters of both Redgate and Glenn Mitchell, there was some question about the accuracy of those meters again, particularly at Redgate. Our superintendent and his assistant went into Redgate and had to replace the grouting and everything else in the flume because it was eaten away, and therefore we were getting false readings. So they made the temporary, and in fact it became a permanent repair. And they brought the manufacturer's rep in just this week, and they verified that everything was okay. They recalibrated the meter, and we have certification that those meters are right. So we're going to dance this tune again swiftly. But these meters are right, and we're reading the sewage.
So they read more than actual? Were they reading more than actual?
They're reading less.
Less.
That means it would be less payment to Swiftly.
Yeah, but we alerted Swiftly. We said, there's something wrong with these meter readings because when Bill Davis got in and looked at it, he saw that the grout was, that the contractor put in was mortar, wasn't real grout. And it washed away, which lowered the.
Are these meters inherently unreliable?
Well, the meter itself is reliable. The construction was very unreliable. I mean, the way it was installed was unreliable. We had to remove a flume that was in there that shouldn't have been in there. When they took the flume out, they went in, instead of putting real grout in, they put mortar. You picture mortar in Redgate Road with flow zooming down there, just ate it away. So we had to go back, the guys had to go back there and get down into that book and repair it. They did.
Are we then expecting a bill for the incorrect meter reading?
I didn't see it. No, we alerted. We alerted. So it's quickly that it was incorrect. He said, hold the fire.
Okay.
And we're going to issue whatever is correct.
Okay.
So we alerted them. They're not playing games. We said it was reading too low.
Good.
Now we think it's reading all right. And we certify it's reading all right. We're back into that. Now, and as I said, we gotta pay, they haven't come in. Well, $200, but it's worth it to get it right.
Absolutely.
Okay, okay. Anything else?
That's all I got.
The new water line construction, where does that stand?
Okay, the water line,
Just as,
the design is complete, we're waiting for EPA to approve.
Okay.
The design is all complete. We have the specs are ready, ready to go out for bid. We have an estimate. We got a grant, paid for a good portion of it. And once we get the permit, we've asked the engineer to go back to the drawing board and give us his final estimate of what he thinks it's gonna cost, and then we'll go out for bids. And the bids should not take more than a month or so, so we should be able to do it this year.
okay, okay. Good. Okay, thank you. That concludes that report, but I realize we got out of order here. Somehow I wound up with two sets of agendas. We didn't agree with each other. So back to the finance.
So I move to approve the June bill list in the amount of $32,440.31. To ratify June prepaid bills in the amount of $374,344.56. And to ratify June payroll transfers in the amount of $25,122.38.
I second.
I have a question. Does anybody know, if you look at the package that she gave us, the top says June 2015 bill list, on the last page, payroll June 2015, down at the bottom, there's $232 overdraft fee charges.
Those were, Gwen was using the new online Pliget and transferred 714,000 out of the PNC account instead of into the PNC account. And the bank charged $32.50 for two outstanding, or, for insufficient funds, but then they also replaced it. And, it's crazy, PNC paid $714,000 on an account that had a few $100,000 in it, so. I guess we have good credit.
But when that mistake was. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and if you notice, it was withdrawn and then it was credited back. The $32.50 insufficient charge.
Thank you. Okay. So you still have to vote on this, like a roll call vote,
Rodney Gartner,
approved.
Mike Dover, Matt Dover,
Yes.
Joanne Scholar,
Yes.
George Jones,
Yes.
Tony Lasante.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay. Anything else in finance? Okay. COG.
I don't have any report other than the same ongoing. To be honest with you, I don't even know what's going on with the COG right now. And I don't say this being dramatic. Traditionally, the COG has not met in the summer. The COG board of directors has not met in the summer. There was some unilateral decision by the COG president that he was going to hold these meetings in the summer. Killbuck has withdrawn their representative from the COG and said that they're not coming back anymore. I had in my calendar last week that we were supposed to have a meeting, and I never got an agenda, so I didn't go. I don't know if that's just that I had a calendaring mistake or what. To be honest with you, I really don't know what's going on.
Do you know where Killbuck is going?
They're not. It's not that they're pulling out of the COG. They're just not sending representatives to meetings.
By the way, for the benefit of those in the audience, QV COG means Quaker Valley Council on Governments. It's basically set up to allow joint purchasing of materials. But the organization's kind of screwed up.
And I'll add one more bit. We had a president's and mayor's breakfast for the second quarter. And I went to that, and QB Cog came, so John DeLuca, who's the manager of the Cog, and the president of the board of directors came to that managers and mayors and presidents meeting. And they sort of presented with the hope of getting more people interested. Swiftly Heights is not a member of the COG. They were pitching Swiftly Heights to join. And it was equally as confusing as anything else. Nobody really knew what exactly was supposed to be going on. There was a comment that was made that the problem that the manager of the COG and the president of the COG see with the COG is that the board of directors and the township managers and secretaries are out of sync with each other. And I think that's probably pretty representative of what we see here. Glenn seems to be happy with the COG, and I don't know what's going on with the COG. So I don't know. The question always comes up of should we back out and go somewhere else? I don't think I'm at the point where I'm ready to make that recommendation. But I think it's worth saying every time QB Cog comes up on the agenda, it's a dysfunctional organization, and I have serious doubts as to whether it's worth anybody's time going to it. I won't say anything about the financial aspect because I know every time we have this conversation, the response from Glenn is, but it's worth our dues in the salt contract and the garbage contract. I'm not totally convinced by that, but for what it is, I'm happy to say whatever, keep going, when I can make it, but I can't. That's the comment.
Thank you.
Yep.
Ambulance Authority.
No report, no meeting, this one.
Okay. Sewer project. Oh, am I right?
Yeah. Most of it was associated with condemnation.
Yeah, I'd be happy to go into that. So as far as what's left of the sewer project, it's sort of, we're cleaning up the eminent domain work, the condemnations that were done. I'm handling that sort of on a broad basis. We filed condemnation cases, declarations of taking against those properties. There's about 15 that are unresolved at this point. You've already authorized and approved payments in court. And so what I've been doing for the last month, 2 months, is I've been negotiating with individual property owners to see how many of those cases we can resolve. And I've been successful on a number of them. And then the ones that we can't resolve will eventually come up for a hearing before the board of viewers. So that's where that stands. And like I said, to date, I've had some successes.
Okay, anything else on that?
Not on the sewer project.
Okay, but we have your solicitor's report.
I really don't have a report. I think at the last meeting, you're aware that we did have a strategy session in connection with the Masonic case. Any report I would give in an executive session, but since really there's really not that much to report, I don't know that you need the executive session tonight, other than to say that the meeting occurred and we're working, we continue to work on it.
Okay.
That's my report.
Okay, thank you. Unfinished business. Proposed motion to approve $100,000 payment to Sewickley Borough for third installment for tap-in fee. I need a motion.
I move to approve $100,000 payment to Sewickley Borough for the third installment of the tap fee.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Okay, discussion. Is this straightforward? Good order. Okay. Yep. No other discussion,
Can I take a vote or no?
I know,
Is there a vote on that?
that, we will, yes.
Where's the call, right? One more to go.
You're pushing it.
This is tied into EDUs.
Okay,
Okay, so it's tied in that, right?
okay, I need a roll call vote on this, please.
Mr. Gardner,
Yes,
Mr. Dilber,
Yes.
Ms. Scholard,
Yes.
Mr. Jones.
No,
Mr. Vicinity.
Yes.
motion carries. New business.
I'm sorry, I have some unfinished business.
Oh, sorry. Did I?
I missed the meeting, where some of the residents from McCoy, or several residents were here, complaining again about the addresses and the snack foods they found. And they're very real complaints. I mean, I know we put signs up, quite frankly, I think the signs are stupid. I think they're really not making any difference. I was on vacation, had my mail held, and it was delivered to South McCoy. So the South McCoy neighbor came with all my mail. You know, that's a minor issue. But when people have new roofs put on and septic tanks cleaned and blah, 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 new washers and dryers, but more importantly, ambulances that come to the
Yeah,
building.
we thought that the ambulance people would know the right address, but that is not the case.
So Tony had left a message about a solution, and I've been thinking about this, and I think that what we should do is have a town meeting with the residents of McCoy and South McCoy. I am more than happy to be the person that leads this meeting and at least be prepared to present some solutions, but listen to everybody's solution. And my feeling is that a letter should, we pick a date, it should be here. The letter should go out, and if you don't show, you have no room to complain. If you come and you have something cooking that we can talk about, because it's the same old story. The people on McCoy think that they shouldn't have to change. It should be South McCoy. South McCoy says, well, I have my address on the stone in front of my house. What am I gonna do? So, you know, I think everybody's gotta just come up with ideas and pick the one that gets the most consensus. Now,
Excuse me,
you
you
have,
read my memo on this?
what?
You read my memo?
Yeah.
I don't recall seeing it.
I sent it to everybody.
Well,
I saw it. I saw it. It's disagreeable to all, but it is a solution. I'm not willing to sit through this again. We're gonna have the same discussion.
But I think everybody has to know that they have input. You know, it isn't just 3 people or 10 people, and if you choose to have input, you'll show up.
Okay, so why don't we, going back to what we said earlier, why don't you make a motion and let's move forward in the parliamentary process.
I make a motion that we pick a selected date to have a town hall meeting. What do you want to call me? I'm the
You can moderate.
Moderate.
Special meeting, you can moderate.
in the township office and date to be discussed. Okay.
I second that.
okay, so there'll be a meeting, there'll be discussion, people will make proposals. And it ends there and the board has to make a decision. Our board has to make it. Is that what
Well, I
foresee
mean,
happening?
If we advertise the meeting, then we can take action at that meeting consistent with what we're hearing. Or we can take any action we want to. We can take action, we can take no action, we can defer it, we can do whatever we want.
Okay.
But I agree that, I guess my question would be, is it something that needs to be at a special meeting, or is it something we can accommodate in a regularly held legislative meeting? What you think is
To get
special?
these people
Yeah.
here, no, I think it needs to be a special.
How many residents are we talking about?
I didn't count the number of houses, but I'm
60?
gonna guess
Probably close to that.
probably 50s and 70s, you know, and they're not all on a show. I would pick a weeknight, and,
Why do you think it couldn't occur at a workshop meeting?
Well, I mean, I'm answering my own question by saying,
I
I get,
think it might be a little bit, this might be a little bit more casual. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know,
Well, it's
less
dedicated.
restrictive.
It's dedicated.
You know, they're not sitting here looking at 5 people, but it's just a group of people talking about how we solve the problem. I do need more information, however, about what the steps are, if we come up with a solution.
That's fine, that's gonna depend on the solution you pick. And whether, and how we go about doing it and what's required. So, because I've looked into this before, from a legal,
You know that,
I know that.
and
From a
we can
legal,
talk.
yeah, from the legal standpoint, you need to tell me what option you want, and then I can advise you on how to accomplish it.
So maybe I
Whether
would
it's-
like to have some of those answers.
Sure.
Because if somebody says, well, what does that mean if we change the numbers, but not the name? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I mean, those were the 2 options that we had looked
Right,
at.
the name and the number.
Changing the name versus changing.
In the end, it'll be what the board thinks is most logical.
well, obviously, the board is the only body that's authorized to take action, so it's
We're
not
not gonna make everybody happy.
people on the street.
And a letter has to go out, so somebody has to write a letter. We'll pick a date.
3.
I'll call. Discuss the date.
Okay.
I can get a copy of your memo. I'd like to see that.
Okay, so there's a motion and a second, we'll call a special meeting. 40.
Mr. Gertner,
Yes.
Mr. Dover,
Yes.
Ms. Joanna,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Santi.
Tony, I've been away and if someone gets that letter, I'd like.
I'll give you 1 second.
Sure, could you make a copy of that for the?
Thank
I have.
Basis for discussion.
That would certainly be a good thing to bring to the meeting as well.
That's kind of the solution on the table. I think almost.
I think we go into the meeting saying there's no.
It's an option.
I didn't present it as an ideal option. I presented it as a military option.
Exactly.
And
Military.
it was so noted, Tony. It was so noted. Can he change this on his own? That's the word I got. Is he allowed to make that movement?
I said it was a
I
state
said-
aid.
I said, we want to support.
Okay. Anything else under new business? Action items, I don't know what you mean by that. No pending action.
Here are those items that they recommended.
That's the audit report.
Yeah, but I wouldn't pull it out.
I just want to be absolutely sure. Excuse us, when is the next debt service bill?
Oh, it's too quarter.
Okay, the discussion, no, the discussion openly is we've decided to reduce the debt service on the sewer, on the bill. We've never formally passed it. We avoided that at the last meeting because the last debt service on the previous bond was June 1st. So we couldn't have reduced the debt service bill them. We have agreed
Tell me how that works. But that-
the debt service on the refunded bonds is less than. So we took the total discount, for lack of a better term, divided it by the total number of customers, and we came up with a number of $4. So theoretically, it's $49.45. We have never formally acted upon that because of the previous meeting. The old bond issue was not totally dead, and the new bond issue had not closed.
And this is a township issue, not an authority issue.
Because the township sets the rates.
Okay.
Certainly with respect to this.
So we could
Township
move,
refinance.
I
We're
understand.
talking about the debt service.
so my question was, when is the next debt service bill?
It's every month.
Well, we're paying it constantly.
I mean, I don't know what you pay back.
My only reluctance to the motion tonight is I haven't had a chance to talk to Gwen to make sure that everything is in place.
Okay. So there was no motion, so
No, but it's just like I did fish this thing, we financed 3 months ago, we're still talking about it 3 months ago.
Oh, we could always have a special discount and catch up 2 months. Or we can make a motion tonight.
Well, move, don't move, make a decision now, let's go.
I'm prepared to make a motion.
Do it.
I make a motion that we reduce debt service from its present, which is $49 per month, $45 per month, which takes into account the amount of saving that we recognize as part of the refinancing of the $8.4 million bond issue. And that is directly related to the saving for each equivalent dwelling. Each equivalent dwelling will be reduced by $4. So,
Okay, but keep it tight, she's.
We could say,
You're gonna just set
the motion could be
well, I got it.
to reduce the debt service payment from $49 to $45. Contingent
No, per equivalent dwelling.
per equivalent dwelling.
In other words,
Okay.
somebody has 4 dwelling units, and somebody has X number of dwelling units, and so forth.
Okay, so Sean, would you give us the motion to talk about?
Sure, motion is to reduce the debt service from $49 a month to $45 a month, taking into account the savings amount of the bond issue.
Now you can say per EDU, just make it simple, per EDU.
Per equivalent dwelling. Per month.
Per the equivalent
Per month.
dwelling,
per month. $49 a month to $45 a month.
And I actually like your language to reflect the reduction, because if anyone wants to know why we're doing it and wants to look at the minutes years from now, that would be in there, and I think that's good.
And
Because of the bond issue.
I need to add a half a sentence to this group motion.
Should say due to resolve the savings from the bond refinance.
Contingent upon verification of the closing of the new bond issue. I haven't heard that officially from Gwen.
Well, then,
All right, eliminate it, I'm sure it happens.
If
What's
it
wrong
doesn't
with that?
happen, you don't have to do it.
do we have a motion? Did you repeat the motion?
3 or 4 months.
I know. I just seen it.
okay, the motion is to reduce the debt service from $49 per month to $45 per month, taking into account the savings of the bond issue, and this is per equivalent residential unit. Contingent on the closing of the new membership.
Now we just cut that out.
No,
What did I miss? Come on,
let's go to 49 to 45
right?
per month, per equivalent dwelling. unit.
It would be initials.
Yeah, it's gotta be up forward. We had it.
EDU per month, per EDU.
To reflect
Collect the savings of of the refinancing
For the moment.
of the bonds.
Period.
And if you wanna be extra cautious, you can make it subject to closing. Again, if you find out that it didn't close, don't do it.
We can rescind.
Let's hear
Ready again?
Yeah.
Motion to reduce the debt service from $49 per month to $45 per month for EDU. To be taking into account the savings due to the amount of the bond issued. And this is to reflect this,
You got the first part right.
okay,
We're good up to EDU.
Up to you.
okay.
Take it from there.
And then the contingent on
No,
closing.
no,
Oh, you want the amount of the bond issue,
Let's start off at EDU.
stop at EDU, gotcha.
Okay, EDU. Based upon the,
To reflect.
To reflect. The savings
Recognize.
recognized by the refinancing of the original bond.
Yes.
You can contingent.
You do it, by the way, you do a great job.
No, it's okay, it's hard. Hey,
I've got one of the few secretaries left in the city that actually takes shorthand, so.
You doing short?
no, I used to, I do,
Okay,
my shorthand is so
Okay,
rusty.
that is the motion, right?
Yes.
Is there a second to the motion?
Yes, I second.
Any further discussion?
You seconded it.
I did.
No further discussion. Roll call vote,
Mr. Gardner,
yes.
Ms. Matt Dover,
Yes.
Joanne Scholar.
Yeah.
Jordan Jones
Yes?
and Tony Vicente.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay. What's next? That's all the action items.
Citizen?
Citizen participation, anybody who wishes to make a comment, state your name and address.
Lynn Kinner, 201 Swiftly Heights Drive. 2 comments. When the letter goes out to inform the residents about the $4 reduction, make sure that they understand that it's for the refinancing the bonds.
So it says.
Is there a letter
Like
going out?
it was in the motion, yeah. The other one, the $12 may not seem like much, but with this new rate increase for the water, the minimum usage is like $13 a quarter. So that'll kind of make that a wash.
Don't mix apples and oranges.
I know, but I am.
Okay, I can only deal with.
One at a time, I know, but you know, that's a benefit from it.
Okay,
But yeah, I think it would be a good idea to let people know and you just notify them that the reduction is due to, so that people understand that there is action going on with that.
Good thought, thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
anything else? Yes, Doug.
Phillips, Masonic Drive. Last month at your June meeting, I informed you of a feral cat colony on Nancy Drive. I wonder if you had any information to impart. If anyone's taken any action or done anything about it.
I know that Judy Haluka has taken action, but I can't tell you what it is.
Okay. Thank you.
What is it? It's a
Feral cat colony.
colony.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like a lot, how many?
Well, the day that I stood there in common, there were, I believe, either 14 or 16 adult cats
Oh, my
and
goodness.
at least 6 kittens.
And they're very healthy looking.
They are healthy looking.
Well fed.
Part of the issue is they're being fed.
Yes,
Who's
well
feeding
fed.
them?
The owner of the property on which they are
Nancy Drive.
Hanging around.
hanging around, yes.
But they're Nancy Drive, but they're coming into the village, is that the problem?
Oh, yes, they come into the village, definitely.
I believe the issue of feral versus owned has been investigated. That decision will determine what action can be taken. But I know that Judy did something.
Thank you.
Why did Judy do something?
Disease. Emergency management.
She offered. She offered.
And that's just because we're operating without a manager.
No, I think she has expertise in it. I mean, she deals with a lot of those agencies.
Well, I think she's just clarifying the issue, so
Yeah.
I don't see any problem.
It seems something that our manager should be taking care of, but
Well, we don't have.
we don't have a manager, I understand.
Well, it's basically a health issue, quite frankly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It is related to health issue. We've got all those.
Okay, we'll see that some action is taken.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Oh. Did you ever talk about that?
Mr. Bill, Mr. Burke, no, I got you.
I was gonna ask about that.